right. Sorry about that. I don't know, my phone went on do not disturb, so I don't know why I was able to take that call, but I'm redoing it because I found out that if you have a call come in and you go back again, it doesn't save the rest of it. So I'm back. So again, so here's again, I want to paint the picture. I completely understand the I can't afford it, I don't have money to do it, and I'm gonna say that that's true and it's not true. So here's the higher perspective. The higher perspective is there's wealth that is going to be constantly coming in and out of my life, and when I tap into that truth, I'm able to support myself in taking action to support it. So the worst thing that we can do is if we want to shift our relationship and frequency with money, we can't stay in the same behavior we have with it. So I can't say I believe that, you know, wealth is available to everybody, but I'm still operating from a place as if I don't believe that. So part of being able to invest in my business and kind of look at how I was working with money differently was actually changing my behavior and how I was being in relationship with it. So again, investing in business coaches, even though I didn't have the money, was kind of my way of saying, okay, I'm trusting this new belief system that I want to cultivate with money, and so I'm taking the leap. But here's again where I want to be very clear about this. We still want to be very mindful and intentional where we're investing things. So I'm never ever going to hire somebody that I don't feel is going to help take my business to the next level. So if I always am going to create this intention, and if this is you, if I know that I need to have support to take my business to where it needs to go, then I'm going to ask to be led or guided to the person that's going to help me get there. So the people that I've hired this year has been very clearly because I felt guided to them, and then I felt really deeply that that was the person that was going to help me step into you know, my success or help my business to flourish. So that's where I want, you know, to kind of use your intuition at play. There's a lot of stuff being flung out right now about people promising I'm going to help you make 5K a month or whatever. I don't want you to listen so much to that, but listen to your intuition about how you feel. Get on a call with somebody. Do a clarity call with them. Talk to people they've worked with. It's super, super, super important. Investing, again, you know, being an entrepreneur, I'm going to tell you right now, is a high risk. It's high risk. You have to take leaps of faith over and over and over again. And sometimes they pay off and sometimes they don't. I will tell you this. The money that I've invested in my business this year has paid off tenfold. And so as soon as I was able to get over that initial fear of investing and finding that alignment to this is what my business needs to flourish, I was able to step into that leap. Now, it doesn't mean that I was scared shitless when I was doing it, but there was a part of me that knew the people that I was hiring was going to be able to help hold me into the spaces I needed to go, and they did. They absolutely, completely did. So I've been able to, you know, recoup that investment. So number one, you're going to have to get comfortable with investing if you're an entrepreneur and you're first starting out. You absolutely need a coach and you absolutely need support, but I want you to be very clear and pay attention to asking for the support that your business is going to need to thrive. And then if you feel led to somebody or you feel drawn, I'm going to say take a leap of faith and trust that that is going to pay off. And if that person is going to help you flourish even more in your business, you want to do it. Even though it's risky, even though there's not a guarantee, I promise you, it is going to pay off. But you want to listen to your intuition about, you know, to have the conversation with the person. Anytime I have somebody come and like invest or look to work with me, I always give them the option of talking to somebody I've worked with in the past, so that I want people to feel safe. I completely understand the weight of the investment that goes into it, especially if we have debt. I get it. I've had debt myself, so I'm never going to lightly hold somebody wanting to work with me because I understand the weight of it. And so that's where you want to work with somebody that's going to take care of you and your business that way and is going to help you flourish, and they're going to do everything that they possibly can. And you know, here's the thing. Please work with somebody that has an element of what you want to create for yourself. So I feel like I have an authority to speak about helping, especially I'm going to say more spiritually heart-paced entrepreneurs create success in what they do because I'm living it. So I feel pretty solid about that I can sort of help it. And I've seen where I've been able to lead my clients to as well. I'm never, ever, ever going to speak to something I feel I can't support. And by the way, I'm not going to promise people either I'm going to help you make 10K per month. Now, do I want to help people shift their relationship with money and be successful in their business? Yes. Have people that have worked with me, have they created more income stream and more flow? Yes, they have. But I'm not going to be comfortable about making that guarantee either, because that depends on a lot of different factors as well. But so the first thing I want you to know is that I understand sometimes you can't afford it, but I also want you to stretch yourself a little bit to see, can I afford not to? So again, in some situations, the reality is you can't. That's why, I created a Facebook group. That's why there's so many different free resources for people that are in that position that, and in the meantime, as you're starting to get things a little bit more settled in your life, you have places to go to get support. So there's a lot of free resources that are available to you. So find somebody that you really resonate with that is offering those kinds of free resources that can support you until you're in a position to step into it. And here's what I'm going to say. Please don't let anybody bully you into investing in something that doesn't feel right. So, oftentimes when people are coming to work with me, I say, take a day or two to sit with it. Feel into it. Does this feel right or resonant? This is not a decision we want to rush into. So I'm never asking people when they get on a clarity call with me to make the decision right away or give me an answer on the call. I just don't feel right about that, because I also understand the weight of that kind of scenario. Money is, I never want to contribute to a dire situation for somebody. And on the flip side of that, I also know that there's so much possibility that are available. I've been in those dire situations, and investing money never ever got me deeper into those dire situations. It got me out. So one of the things that got me out of sort of my dire situation with money was actually investing in my business to get it off the ground. So again, entrepreneurship is high risk. We have to sometimes take a leap of faith. And I'm going to tell you it's going to pay off and it's going to be worth it. Work with somebody and seek somebody out that is going to support you with that. Again, whether it's working with somebody like myself or somebody else that you've been wanting to work with, it's a very worthy investment, and it's going to, if I knew what was going to be created from doing that kind of investing in my business, I would have done it 2 years ago. I probably would have saved myself a hell of a lot of debt. So I've learned that. So again, I'm not afraid now as much as I was when I'm to go invest and go hire somebody that is going to have a service. But always, always, always the intention is, what is going to help further the success of my business so that I can support myself. So that's always the intention I'm going through. And you always want to listen to your instincts about whether that person or that service is going to serve you or not. But I think withholding yourself, or again, because you're uncomfortable with it or you're afraid of don't let your mind, the way that you're seeing money right now is not the only truth that's available for you. The worst thing that I could do with somebody working with me is feed their story of there's nothing available to them and they can't have wealth. I absolutely know people can create wealth. The cool thing is, a lot of my clients I've actually turned around and hired. And I see them now, sharing their services and getting paid for it. So that's what you want, is you want to work with somebody, invest in somebody that's going to help you create that for your business in a way that feels really good to you. Okay, so again, one of the biggest transformative things that I did this year was I invested in my business. I got over my shit around money a little bit, and I looked at, I can't apply my personal feelings around money to my business, because that's not going to help my business flourish. And if my business is flourishing, that means my purpose is being felt in the world. That means my horses still have a home. So it's worth it. It was totally worth going into more debt for. Absolutely. And here's the thing. As somebody who was, and here's the other thing, I grew up in a family that said debt is very bad and don't have debt. And I had debt. So I had to find a different way to be around that. I'm actually grateful for it, because it's deepened my awareness and understanding about money. And it's actually taught me how to hold money in a different way that I didn't know before. So again, I'm doing a financial report every month. I'm keeping track of my earnings and I'm spending. I'm looking at my bank account all the time. And then I'm also nurturing the energetic and spiritual space around I hold money as well. So there's across the board what I'm looking. Same with pricing. So there's all the different things that I'm addressing. And then I'm also asking for what I need to be fully supported in it. And so I really, really encourage and I urge you, if there's something that you're feeling like, I need that, and there's an urge to do it, take a leap of faith and follow that urge, because there's something that's going to come out of it. And trust your intuition to know that that's the exact thing you need to get you out of maybe the hole that you're in. Now, again, being mindful of, people are in different situations, but don't let your fear of how you're holding money right now get in the way of creating something different for yourself in the future. And you can create something out of a dire situation, okay? And use your intention about seeking people out that are going to help shift it for you. But there's something very, very powerful about being held in a container by somebody else who's holding a vibration that we want to step into, so that we can help transform it and we can help anchor it into for ourselves, and then we can step into holding a different frequency around money. So again, I don't, when I'm working with people, my core message isn't around money, but it is one of the layers that I help support people, because I know it is absolutely integral to everything else. We can't hold our purpose in the world if we don't know how to hold money, because money really supports our purpose. So this is where I want you again to explore, how do you feel about money, and what do you want to feel about money? Okay, so I'm just sort of looking at, I hope that was helpful. I probably could talk about this forever. I think, again, I think what I so desperately want people to know is that your money story doesn't have to be your money story for the rest of your life, but continuing to feed that money story and acting in alignment with what your money story is not going to shift it. So, do something that maybe terrifies you, but also know that chances are, if you're feeling called to go work with somebody or invest in something or to grow your business, it's going to be transformative. But operating from the same place is not going to change your money story. Something has to change. So not just how you physically are behaving with money, but also how you energetically are behaving with money. So that's where I want you to kind of explore, how do I feel about money right now? What do I want to feel about it? And it's worth it. Gosh, it's worth it. It's worth it. Spend the money. It's worth it. If you know deeply in your gut that it's exactly what you need, go for it. Because I had no idea what would have opened for me. And here's the thing, when I invested and I trusted and I took that leap of faith, it just opened up the floodgates for me in ways that I didn't even anticipate was going to happen for me this year. And I also understand how terrifying it is. So I get it. I completely and utterly get it. But our fear often is not an indicator of the truth. So I want you to know that as well. Okay, so people are saying, what's your gunk? The first thing, just don't buy into what you think is true about money. And recognize that it's gunk. So oftentimes the first question is, what can I do to transform this? And that's where, start reading different books about different consciousness around money. Hire somebody that's going to help you. Work with somebody that's holding a different frequency so that you can get into that frequency yourself. Ask for help. Ask for help. Ask for help. Ask for help. Ask your help from people around you. Ask for help for your peeps. But start looking at, really honestly, what is my relationship with money? How am I acting around money? And how do I want to feel about money? And if I felt a different way about money, how would I act? So, a question that I often ask people too, and I ask this myself, if it wasn't for the money, would I say yes and work with this person? If the answer is yes, so if I had the money sitting in my bank right now, would I work with that person? If the answer is yes, I'm investing the money. Period, end of story. Period, end of story. I hired my business coach at $15,000 and I did not have $15,000 in the bank. I had negative $20,000 in the bank. And I hired her anyways because I knew that working with her was exactly what I needed, and it paid off. 100% it paid off. So take the money out of the equation for a second. If it wasn't for the money, would I hire that person? Would I invest in myself? Would I do this? If the answer is yes, then do it. Ask for the support somewhere else. Open yourself up saying, okay, universe, I'm doing this and I'm going to trust the money to appear. If you want to cultivate a deeper relationship with money that says, I trust that it's always going to be available for me and it's going to be there. And doing so, I'm going to say, who's going to help me anchor into that, or who's going to help me get my business forward? And that person just shows up like a blinding light. And you want to say, I have to work with that person. For the love of God, go work with that person, because I absolutely promise you that is going to be the first step you're going to take to cultivate cultivate a different relationship with your wealth. If you are in a position where you absolutely cannot, start to look around what are some free resources or things that I can start to do in order to build myself up to being in a position where I can invest in that, or is there somebody I can ask for help so that I can? You know, for me, it really looked like I had to ask my parents. That wasn't a comfortable thing for me to do. I really didn't want to do that, but I was sort of in a position where I had nowhere else to go. And I did, and I'm really glad that I did, and I allowed myself to receive that. So one of the biggest things is our ability to receive support when we need it. There's no shame in not being able to create something for yourself, even though you know it's possible and you believe it. There's no shame in that. I had a lot of shame. I felt like I was failing myself, I was failing my parents, I was failing my horses because I couldn't do it myself. There's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. There's no shame in asking for help and having somebody support you if that's what's going to get you to create success for yourself. So I want you to know that it's okay to receive, and it's okay to be helped, and it's okay to receive what you need in order to further yourself so that you can find that ability to hold it for yourself down the line. So I want you to know that. I understand the despair of that and the hopelessness of it, and you know, there's people that are there to help you and you're able to receive it, but ask for what you need and put that money towards a place that's going to help you cultivate your own wealth down the line. That's why I think investing in my business was the best thing I possibly could have done, because it's what allowed me to cultivate my own wealth. So I did. You know, yeah, it was scary because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to have money to feed my horses next month. So I understand that. I absolutely understand that, but it's really what has allowed me to continue to have money to feed my horses. So that's where I want you to create that intention. You hire the people. If again somebody shows up and it's there, I know I need to work with that person and they're going to get me to where I need to go so that I can create my own wealth for myself, then hire that person or that service, or go to that group program, or go see that healer, or whatever it is that's showing up for you. Spend the money and trust that it's going to be there, and ask for it to be there as well. Here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to then go be careless, and it's not about being careless, but there's an element of taking a leap of faith and starting to respond to things in a different way and trusting that you will be held there. But I think again the biggest shift for me was learning how that I could invest in things and to create greater wealth for myself. And that was something that I didn't do up until this year. And it's really what I attribute to be able to help shift my relationship with money. So again, to wrap it up, I could probably talk about this for days and days. Be a detective and ask yourself, how do I currently feel about money? Spend a day just unearthing, what is the energy I hold about money right now? What did I grow up knowing? Where did it come from? Where do I hold it in my body? How do I show up in that? And then, how do I want to feel about money? So I want to be in a harmonious relationship with it. I want to know that I have abundance that I have access to. I want to be in a place where it's flowing in my life, where I feel abundant, where I'm able to have money in my account, where I know that it's going to be replenished. How do you want to feel about money? Then I want you to surround yourself with people that have a different consciousness around money. Read some books that help support a different mindset around money. And this is all mindset, by the way. Abraham and Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks, Esther and Jerry Hicks, Abraham. Marianne Williamson, The Law of Divine Compensation. The Science of Getting Rich. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The Abundance Book. Doreen Virtue has a book on abundance. Google books on abundance and law of attraction and start reading them and start cultivate a different relationship with it. Be honest with yourself of what you're holding to be true about money. Where maybe are you repelling it because you're uncomfortable with it, or you feel like you're not worthy of it, or it means that people won't like you, or whatever. How do you view people with money? What do you feel about people that have money? Money is just an energy. In its pure form, how would you hold money? Okay? And then I want you to, if you have a business or you have a service that you're doing, the worst thing you can do for your business is apply your own personal belief systems to your service, because you can't do that. Abraham Hicks is great. You can't do that. So the most crippling thing I did for my business is I projected my own fears about money onto my business. So again, the big aha moment was I realized I can spend 15 to 20K building my horses a horse shelter and putting new footing in their food, and I will do that, and I won't bat an eye. But when it comes to hiring a business coach, you know, I'm in shits and fits and giggles and having a panic attack because of XYZ. So I applied the same mindset I had about how I wanted to support my horses to my business, because I will do what my horses need to be taken care of. Business is the same thing. Your service, you're on, whatever it is you're holding, you know, whether it is you're making jewelry, or you're a photographer. You know, I work with people that I don't just work with other coaches. You know, there's a whole bunch of people that I've worked with, from singers, from artists to, you know, jewelry designers, and you can, that's the same thing. Okay, but you have to identify what your stuff is about money. So get curious about what that is, and then create a new frequency that you want to hold it, and then surround yourself with people that anchor a different energy about it and speak to it a different way. That will help hold that belief system for yourself moving forward. And for the love of God, if you're in the position to, you know, even if you have to put it on credit card for a little bit, invest in somebody that is going to help you propel your business forward. It's just that changed my life when I was able to do that. Yes, I went into more debt, but it also got me out of debt. So you have to sometimes have a different way of looking at it. But if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to find a different way to hold that kind of stuff if you want to succeed. Okay. And yes, so here's the thing. Somebody said, I have such a hard time accepting money for my energy healing work. Yes, I know, but here's the thing. Money is the currency and the exchange that exists in our world right now. And you know, that's all it is. It's an exchange. It's just an exchange. It's just an exchange. When I price something, or when I'm looking about receiving payment, it's just allowing myself to receive the exchange that's going to be the most honoring of my gifts and of the other person. So it's actually very empowering for the other person to be able to hold them in that position of they're completely and utterly capable of stepping in and paying me for my services. So I actually had to double my individual rates with the horses this year, because basically I needed to do that to support my business. And I have more clients actually when my rates went up. And what I understood is it's just a frequency, it's just an energy, and it's available to everybody. And if I really want to anchor into that belief system, I have to hold it for other people. And I also understand, especially when we're, I think, more heart-centered and spiritually based, it's so uncomfortable for us to receive money. Money is just an energy. It happens to be how we exchange our services in this world. It's available to everybody. And so seeing if you can find, again, a different belief system of how you're holding money and how you're holding your services. And it's okay, by the way, to receive money in exchange for your gifts. It's absolutely denying yourself money because you feel like it's taking away from your gifts. That's actually dishonoring of your gifts, because you can't share your gifts if you're not supported, can you? I wasn't able to do my work to the capacity that I'm doing this year when I wasn't able to receive money or let people pay me for my services. And I actually remember I was doing an open house 2 years ago. And at that point, I was sort of letting people kind of pay me what they could. And I remember I sort of heard this voice, and I think it was from my guides, that said, if you continue to operate the way you are, you will not have a place for people to come. And that really hit me. It's like, you know, I think I'm doing a service to people when I'm saying, it's okay, you can pay me $20 or $40 or whatever. That's not paying my bills, and that's not feeding my horses. And doing that, you know, if I continued to do that, I would not have a place. My horses wouldn't have a home. I would not have a space. I could not do my work. So it actually doesn't serve anybody to hold that belief system. So again, I had to sort of, again, shift it. It's not any less spiritual, or it doesn't mean I'm taking away from the purity of my work by charging for it. It actually creates a more of an empowerment around it, has been my experience, and the same with people who have kind of stepped in the container to work with me. So again, it's how you shift it, and also embrace it. Embrace it. Embrace money. Money is the currency of our life right now. It's not bad. It's not evil. It is an energy that we happen to use as currency. Embrace it. Allow yourself to embrace it. And I promise you, when you hold it differently internally, people are going to hold it differently when they come and work with you. So I don't get pushback so much from people because I'm holding the energy differently. Okay. So I hope that's been helpful. I probably could talk about this for hours, and to deepen it. But, you know, catch the replay if you didn't. Where you can find me, Soul Medicine Tribe on Facebook if you're not already there, where I share a lot of this stuff, and I also encourage other people to share their gifts. It's a great place to kind of receive some of the stuff that I'm talking about as well. And I created that container for people that, you know, can experience the stuff that I'm doing, but I also like creating a space for people to start exploring their gifts and to talk about you know, their wisdom. So that's there. Or you can find me at hillaryschneider.com, and I'm an intuitive business coach. I think it's probably more accurate. I also do in-person experiences with horses. But really the core of my work is coming to helping people really get clearly connected and awaken to kind of their core purpose, so they can go out and also not just clarifying it, but learning how to powerfully hold it in the world so they can go and be in service of the things that they're meant to be in service of. And then I help them kind of create a business that is very heart-centered and is done in a way that feels intuitive and feels good and is alignment, and where they're sharing their gifts and being successful at it. Thank you, Kitty. So that's where you can find me. If you're in the Soul Medicine Tribe and you want me to deepen this, or you have more questions, comment, post, like. Otherwise, we'll catch you guys later. Sit with this, see what comes up. If you feel inclined to share, I would love to hear from you. You can do that in the Facebook group, or you can email me privately. You know, if I can leave you with anything, it's this. It is completely not impossible to shift your perspective and your relationship with money, and to do it in a pretty, you know, reasonable amount. It was honest to God, probably a little bit over a year ago, that I was just in pretty dire straits with it, and things transformed within probably a short amount of time. And I talked about every single thing that I did here on the scope. So just because you find yourself in a situation doesn't mean that this has to be your reality for the rest of your life. You can create something different from where you're at, and things don't have to be ideal in order for you to do so. So all hope is not lost. There's always resources available. And as always, if you're having help, you know, one of the biggest things I said, and you guys probably know what's coming, ask your peeps, yo. Which is my word for angel guides and divine. So one of the things I also lean into is, how can the universal energy or my higher self support me in shifting my consciousness around how I hold wealth? So ask for that. Ask for help to be supported in either investing in something or shifting how you hold money. It's a very, very powerful thing to do. I definitely go there a lot in my work. So seek that out, ask for that help, look for the information and guidance and wisdom that's going to support the consciousness, and look at how you're relating to money. And even if it's a small little step of, how can I behave differently, or how can I see this differently? And if I felt differently about money, how would I respond differently? Just get curious about what you can do, maybe even right now, to shift it, even if it's a small little step, okay? Address the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual level with it as well. Okay, I feel I seriously probably could talk about this more, but I do have to go. So I hope that was helpful. We'll see you guys on the other side. And you know where to find me if you need me. So wishing you a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, and we will see you guys again soon.